Hello, my hard-working students, and welcome back to my channel. In this lesson, I will show you how to calculate a fraction of an amount, and we're going to start with something, as I usually do, with a nice fun puzzle, and then I'm going to show you some easy fractions, and then it's going to get a bit harder after that. So let's get started. Let me show you the first puzzle we have. Here you go. So, pause the video. After you read, you have to figure out how much each one of these symbols is, given the fact that this is a multiplication. So there's a multiplication sign here, and this is times by this, and this is the answer. So that's how you have to go thinking about it, okay? I'm gonna give you a few minutes, pause the video, and then I'm gonna give you the answers and explain to you how to think about it. Now, looking at this, we can see that a bottle times another bottle gives you 1. Now, the only two numbers that times together to give you 1 that are the same numbers should be 1. Okay, so this should be 1, and this one should have the value 1. We're going to consider that to be 1. I can't think of any other number times by itself that gives you 1. But if you do think about it, you can tell me. Most of the time, there's more than one right answer to a problem. Okay, maybe not in this case. Okay, let's see next. So now we know this is 1. We can have a look either at the column or the row, and we can use this to find the other symbols. So if we look at this, we have 1 times 2 should be 2. So this should be 2. Yeah, this should have the value 2. Okay, next. Now, 1 times this weird hand gives you the same hand. Now, this is actually valid for any number. 1 times 8 is 8. 1 times 10 is 10. So this doesn't actually help us. It doesn't tell us anything we don't know. So let's just look here. Maybe we can figure something out like that. A bottle times the hand gives you 3. So it means that the hand should be 3. That's the only number. Yeah? This can only be 3. Okay, and then we have a bat times 1 gives you a bat. Obviously, same thing. Yeah, any number you times by 1 gives you the same number, so this is nothing new to us. But now we know how much this hand is. So we know this is 3. Now we can look at this row and figure out the bat from here. So 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, this is 6. And 3 times the hand is 9. So obviously we know this is 3, we know this is 3, so this should be 9. We could have used this to find out how much the hand was. And the last thing is the moon. A bat times the moon should give you, no, a bat times 3 should give you the moon, and the bat is 6. So you have 6 times 3 gives you the moon, which is 18. So obviously the moon should be 18. And that is the starter puzzle. So now let's get into the lesson. Let's see, I'm going to show you how to represent this first. You can use this image aid to figure out how calculating a fraction of a number is and what it means. Right, so we need to make it so that all the sides or the slices are kind of equal. Okay, so I want you to look at this as a pizza, okay? So if this is a pizza, and imagine that there's 30 olives, yeah, so these are the olives. You want to think of this in terms of olives. And there's 30 olives on a pizza, and the pizza is divided into 6 slices. So what they're actually asking you is how many olives are per slice, okay, in one slice. So 1 out of 6 is how many olives are on one slice. If you divide the pizza into 6 slices, then you have 30 olives altogether. Okay, so what you need to do actually, yeah, imagine that you only need 1 slice for now. What you need to do is say, okay, well, considering that all the pizza. Considering that all the slices have the same number of olives, we need to do 30 olives divided by 6 slices. And that gives us 5 olives per slice. Okay, so that gives us 5 olives per slice. Okay, and now if someone asks you to calculate, for example, how much is 2 out of 6 of 30, basically they're asking you, if there's 30 olives on a pizza and the pizza is divided into 6 slices, how many olives would you expect to have on 2 slices? Okay, now building up on top of what we've just done here, we know that there's 5 olives on one slice, so basically you calculated 1/6. Yeah, so 1/6 of 30 is 5, and now 2/6 of 30 should be double. Yeah, so the 1/6 and 2/6 of 30 should be double the amount. So what you need to do is, basically, if you have to start over, you would do 30 divided by 6 and then times by 2. Yeah, you divide by the denominator, the bottom number is called denominator, and then you multiply by the numerator. Yeah, you divide by the bottom and times by the top. Okay, and that should give you 10, because we already know how much this is. 30 divided by 5, we've done it here. Now we just multiply that by 2. Yeah, so that's how you have to think about it. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Let's see if I can give you another example. Let's see, I'm just gonna do this in quarters, because like that you can also, what if we want to do 3/4 of 40? Okay, you might be able to do this in your head, you might not. But okay, so here's your pizza. Yeah, in your pizza, because this is 4, this is showing you how many equal parts you have in this fraction here, in this image. So it means you have to take your 40 olives, you divide them by 4. So you do 40 divided by 4, and that gives you 10. It means each one of these has 10 olives on it. Yeah, and then if you know that there's 10 olives on one slice, but you actually need 3 slices, you can do 3 times 10. Yeah, so before I showed you how to do that in one go, and now I showed it to you in 2 steps. So whatever works best for you. The answer is 30. Okay, so these are quite easy. So here's what you do. You have 1/2 of 10. Obviously half of 10 is 5, yeah? If you know that. But actually what you did, you took the 10, you divide by 2. So that is why it's 5. Yeah, so you divide by this. Okay, and in here, if you want to find out, so basically you have to imagine that you have something divided into 3 equal parts. Yeah, and you have to figure out how many units are on each one of these parts. So you do 18 and you divide it by 3. Okay, do 18 divided by 3, and you have to find out then how many units are on one part. So in this case there's 6. Yeah, you can also think about the pizza and the olives. That's a very good example actually. So you can pause the video and do the rest of the work, and then I'll show you the working out. Okay, so we're back. Let's see if we have the answers. Okay, here are the answers. Well, I'm just gonna let you have a look at the answers, mark them, and then we're gonna move on to the next activity. Okay, so I'm gonna change the slide now, but if you're still marking, just pause the video as well. Okay, right, so here's the second activity. It's very straightforward. Now what you need to do is what you've done before. You take 15, divide by 3. Yeah, you take this, you divide, and then you times by the top. Yeah, so this should be 15 divided by 3 times by 2, and that should give you 10. Okay, and then you do the same on the next one. You divide by the denominator times by the numerator. Okay, now pause the video, do this once as well, and then I'm going to quickly give you the answers to this, and we're going to move on to something more challenging and some problem solving eventually. Okay, and we're back. Right, let's have a look at the answers. I don't know if there's anything you might have gotten stuck on. Maybe if you don't know how to do the division, you can say 7 goes into 9 one time. Here is one time, and the remainder is 2. And 7 goes into 21 3 times. Okay, so this is 13 because of that. Okay, here are the answers. Pause the video, mark the work, and then we move on after that. Okay, so here's another activity. This one might require you to do a bit more working out, maybe not. Let's see, so at this point here, it might be a bit more interesting. Anything else is quite similar to the previous one. It's just a bit more practice for you. So if you want to skip this, is fine. If you feel like it's too repetitive, if you want to have a go, maybe you want to have a look at the last row. This is much more interesting than the top ones, because here you have a few steps. So for example, if you look at this, it says 1/8 of a day. You can't do 1/8 of a day, right? But you can convert your day into smaller units. What's the smallest unit for a day? The smaller unit for a day. It's 24 hours, yeah? So there's 24 hours in one day. So you can use that to calculate 1/8, okay? This is just a hint. I'm not going to do the work for you. You still have to do it. This is just a hint, okay? And here, if you don't know how to convert kilometers, I'll help you. So how can we convert kilometers into smaller units? Well, the most common smaller unit than a kilometer is a meter. So kilometer has, do you know, has 1,000 meters, okay? So you can do 4/5 of 1,000 meters. Then here, you have 2 weeks. How many days are in 2 weeks? Okay, so you get it, right? You get it. You get what you need to do. 2 weeks are 14 days. And you can calculate the fraction out of 14. And here you have 1 meter. You can convert it into centimeters. You can do, okay, I'm going to do, actually, if you do centimeters, that's only 100. So you have to divide 100 by 500. That's too small. You have to convert this into millimeters. Yeah? So 1 meter has 1,000 millimeters. So that would work best in this case, okay? I already gave you the hints to the most difficult ones on this sheet. Pause the video and try to do the work on your own. And then on the next slide, I'm going to show you the answers again. Let's have a look at the answers. Here you go. You have 2 millimeters, 6 days. Okay, so mark these answers. Let's get on to some problem solving after that. Now we do some problem solving. These are fairly easy questions. Shouldn't be struggling with any of this. They're in a context, so that's great. I'm gonna ask you to pause the video, try to do this by yourself, and then I'm gonna have a look at this question with you, and maybe this one. okay? Because the other ones are fairly easy. And pause the video and have a go. Now we're gonna have a look at this. So on Wednesday, James slept 3/8 of the day. How many hours did he sleep? So obviously you have to do 3/8 of 24. So you do 24 divided by 8 and times by 3. Yeah, so 24 divided by 8 is 3. Times 3 is 9. 9 hours. Yeah, so he spent 9 hours sleeping. How many hours did he spend awake? So obviously if you take away 9 from 24, he spent, how many hours is that? That's 15 hours. Okay, so he spent 15 hours. You do 24 minus 9, 15 hours awake. What fraction of the day was James awake? And if he slept for 3/8 of the day, it means the remaining amount, yeah, the remaining fraction. I want you to think of the day like this. Imagine it's a circle and it has 8 slices. I don't know if this is accurate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Anyway, so if he slept 3, yeah, so these are 3/8, then the remaining amount, sorry for the scribbling, the remaining amount should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so the remaining amount is 5 out of 8. Yeah, 5/8. That is the fraction of the day that he spent awake. Okay, so that's question 4. Now if we look at question 6, Katie has 1,200 pounds. She gives a third of the money to her sister. Okay, so first we have to find out how much is a third. Yeah, so 1/3 of 1,200 is, and you divide that by 3, that's 400 pounds. Yeah, so that's 400 pounds. Then Katie gives 1/4 of the remaining amount to her brother, I think. Oh, I kind of cut that, sorry. Anyway, and then the question is, how much does she have left? So she had 1,200, then she gave away 400, and then the remaining amount here is 800 pounds, okay? And then she gave away another quarter of this. What is the quarter of 800? Obviously you do 800, yeah, 1/4 of 800 is 800 divided by 4. So that gives me 200. So she had 800 left, and from those 800 she gave another 200. So now she has 600 pounds left. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Right, so I'm gonna give you the answers to all the questions so you can check all your work. These were the most challenging ones, but they're not that difficult. Okay, so let's see. Hope this made sense to you. So here are the answers. Okay, so now that you've seen the answers and you mark them, we're gonna see if there's anything else left. One more slide of questions. These are slightly more challenging. Give yourself another few minutes to do this and then we can finish off this lesson, okay? Pause the video, try to do this quickly, and then we're gonna have a look at them. Now the first question seems okay. Second one is interesting. It says, Mr. Wallace says that exactly 1/4 of the students are left-handed. We explain why he's wrong. In order for him to state that exactly 1/4 are left-handed, when you calculate a quarter of this number, it should be a whole number, okay? If you get a decimal, it means not exactly a quarter of them are left-handed. And if you look at this number, you might not be able to tell, but this is not a multiple of 4. This number doesn't divide exactly by 4. So that's why he's wrong, because if you divide that number by 4, you will get a decimal. So that's why he's wrong. Okay, and this is the bit longer one that we're gonna be doing. Connor has saved £450. He spent a fifth of this on a new tire for his car. Let's figure out how much this is. 45, so that's £90. So you do 450 divided by 5, yeah? That's £90. Connor spent 2/3 of this on a new guitar. 2/3. So now you have to do 2/3 of this number. Yeah, but because you have to say, you have to see that it says that he spent 2/3 of this number, not of the remaining amount, like we had in the previous exercise. Okay, if he says the remaining amount, you have to figure out how much he has left and calculate the fraction out of that number. But in this case, it's actually much easier because you don't have to do the subtraction to see how much he has left. So now you have to do 450 divided by 3. That should give me around 150 times by 2. So that's £300. What fraction of the 450 does he have left? So basically he spent 390. So let's see how much he has left. 0 and 6. So he has £60 left. If you want to find out what fraction he has left, you do this: £60 out of 450. So that's what you do, that's your fraction. But this is a bit big, isn't it? It's a bit of an ugly fraction, so we have to simplify it. Divide both numbers by 10, we take away the 0, and that gives you 6/45. And then both of these numbers divide by 3. We can divide by 3, and 3 goes in 6 twice, 3 goes in here, in the 4 goes once, and in the 15 goes 5 times. So 2 out of 15, that is how much he has left in terms of fraction. Okay, so the fraction he has left is 2 out of 15. Right, so I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. I hope I didn't bore you and it wasn't monotonous. Try to make it as fun as I could, but it's all up to you. You always have to pause the videos, do your own work. Oh, hold on, I'm gonna give you the answer to this ones, okay, if you want to see them. But that's all I had to say for today, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it challenging enough, and if you have any suggestions, feel free to leave any comments, and I'm happy to improve, try new things. Okay, so have a great day, and you can pause the video to have a look at the answers. And I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye for now.